Very good morning, team. Hope I'm audible to everybody. Welcome to Dwaytech Power BI Masterclass 1. So, in this particular masterclass, we will be looking at Power BI. What is Power BI and what are the things we are going to learn about Power BI? We are going to look at in this session. So, the first step in this session would be to learn about Power BI, what Power BI is. It is a tool from Microsoft. It is a business intelligence tool. BI stands for business intelligence. How being an analyst, be it data analyst or a business analyst or an operations analyst or a quality analyst, everybody, your resume will have extra weightage when you display in your skill set that you have mastered Power BI up to a certain extent. And how useful it is for you, we'll be looking to it, where you're going to use Power BI and how it is going to help your daily life, daily responsibilities, your work as an analyst. Will As part of today's session, we will be covering a certain number of topics about Power BI. This is going to be an introduction class. Will not Let's not over look into all of the things that we are going to do today. So as part of today's class, we will be looking at introduction to Power BI, what Power BI is, where it is used. We'll be looking at components of Power BI, right? And we'll be looking at variants and working of Power BI. And I'll also be helping you with downloading and installing Power BI. It is a free tool for those who are looking to learn. It is very easy to download, very easy to install. It's very not so complex. So as part of that, the first part, introduction to Power BI. What is Power BI? I know all of you have this question in your mind, going around in the market, whoever is trying to, get into IT from a non-IT background, who wants to start their career as an analyst. You might be a student in your third or fourth year of your degree or a technical degree, where you're trying to, looking to into opportunities to start your career as a financial analyst or a Power BI analyst or a data analyst. You might be looking to get into as a proper data role, or in fintech companies also hire a lot of data analysts or people who are data associates, people who know their way around data and tools related to data. Anybody who knows Excel or SQL, you know that Power BI is the very next step after learning SQL. What is Power BI? Why do we use Power BI? Why is it so popular in today's market trend? We will look into it. The first thing, we'll go with a clear-cut textbook-based definition. What is Power BI? Power BI is a business intelligence tool. I told you BI stands for business intelligence. It is from Microsoft, which will help you clean, analyze, and visualize data. So as part of today's session, I would like to quote one of the famous economists' quotation, which says, if you torture your data long enough, it will confess to anything, which means as many questions as you ask to your data, you will find those many answers. If you keep asking questions to data regarding trends, regarding patterns, regarding decisions that you make, data will definitely help you to make those decisions, choose those sites. As part of that, we'll look into the second part of the definition. With the help of Power BI, you can build visually impressive and highly detailed reports and dashboards. Right now, dashboard might be a very foreign term for you. And you know about what a report and presentations means. Report is basically when somebody asks for details or data regarding something, and you put it together in a file and you display it to somebody regarding, so that they can look into that report and they can answer the questions that they have in their mind based on the data that you provide. So this is what Power BI is. It's a business intelligence tool. All the data that you gather in let's say in an SQL file or in an Excel file, all that numbers regarding sales, let it be regarding trends about healthcare, regarding trends about voting, everything is data. All those data is summed up to numbers, and using those numbers called data, what is the patterns that we can observe? What is the analysis or analytics that we can draw from it? What are the KPIs, the key performance indicators that we can note down from them? All of this is part of data. So whatever we can extract from data, and how, see, there are multiple tools, coders or programmers who are familiar with Python, even they can draw out these analysis. But why Power BI? Is it just to clean and analyze data? You can use SQL for that, you can use Microsoft Excel for that, you can use Python, different libraries of R and Python language for that. Then when you have all these resources, why do you want to go for a business intelligence tool called as Power BI? Here comes the main point: visualization. You see, visualizing your data is such a trick. You see, those who understand their way around data, they know how to draw insights from data. But those who don't understand data, people from higher level management, if you I'll give a small example about where all we use Power BI. If you have seen stock markets advertisements, stock applications, right? There is Zerodha, there are multiple angel one applications. See, you see the trends where you can see about how a particular stock or how a particular market share is uh, updating from second to second. You can see the graph fluctuating up and down between different points, different decimal points. That thing, that visualization, that entire thing is data. Right now at 10 p.m. a particular share or a particular stock value was 100 rupees. At 10:15 it became 120 rupees. Again at 10:30 it dropped to 115. Again at 10:45 it picked up back to 150. So all of that in numbers is very difficult to read, but to observe it as a pattern in a graph, it is very easy. So graph is one of the chart, you see, so that is a chart. So these kind of visually representing data which fluctuates with time or with changes with a particular parameter, considering different parameters and how data has fluctuated based on those parameters. You usually tell that story about a particular data factor to general audience or people from the industry or higher level employees. For that visualization purpose, you need Power BI. Let's look into the next part. Components of Power BI. Power BI is basically a two variant application where you get Power BI desktop is one thing and Power BI service is the other thing. So Power BI desktop is what you install on your system on a desktop or a laptop, where you actually do the visualization process, where you build the reports or dashboards or presentations which we keep talking about. And Power BI service is a remote application of Power BI. How we use Power BI desktop, how we use Power BI service, we'll look into it in a minute. So this is what Power BI desktop looks like. You get access to it through your system, your computer, your personal computer. It may be a laptop or a desktop. So that is where you access Power BI desktop. That is where you build your dashboards. That is where you do your analysis. And next is Power BI service. Power BI service is an application which is available on your personal computer, your mobile device, your tabular device, your iPad, anywhere you can install Power BI service. This is morely to, it is more like a read alone application where you get to see the dashboard that have been shared with you, or you can look into the reports or dashboards or presentations that you have been given access to. Power BI desktop is basically for development. Power BI service is for visualization. Power BI desktop. Power BI desktop contains of three main components. The first one is Power Query. Power Query is a ETL tool. See, the name suggests everything. ETL. E is for extract, T is for transform, and L is for load data. So using Power Query, you extract data. Like I said, there is a data which might be an Excel sheet, data might be an MS Access file, data might be present in an SQL file, data might be present in a CSV file. CSV is a comma separated values file. How that comes into play, what is a CSV file? Yeah, further while looking throughout this course, like this is just the beginning of the master class. Eventually, how this data works, what is in what format this data exists, how it is connected with Power BI, how we work on it, we will be looking at it throughout this course. In eventual sessions of this particular course, eventual master classes of this course, you will be looking at it and you will get a clearer picture about what I mean when I say about extract or transforming or loading the data. Part 2, pivot. Power pivot is to connect Power BI with multiple other resources of data. Like I told you, there are multiple resources of data. Data can be stored in an Excel file, SQL file, CSV file, SQL also, it might be an Oracle SQL file, it might be a Microsoft SQL file, it might be a MySQL file. There are different versions of SQL also which is being used by the market. Different industries, different companies use different Excel files, different SQL versions. So in spite of we having data in different application, different software, different versions of Excel, everything can be converted with Power BI desktop. That is the beauty of Power BI. See, Power BI can connect with 100 plus different resources of data. While we in further sessions, while we install and explore the application of Power BI, we will get a clearer picture about this kind of versatility that Power BI displays. Power BI is a very versatile application, and how versatile it is and how dynamic it is, how it exhibits these particular features, we will look into it in the eventual sessions of this particular course. Power View, the last. Power BI desktop components. It is used to create visually impressive and highly detailed reports, charts, presentations, and dashboards. Like I told you, reports, charts, presentations, and dashboards right now might feel a bit foreign to you. You look into it, what these dashboards means, how visually beautiful they are, and how detailed they are. You have a lot of data, you have a lot of information, you have an entire story to tell about a particular factor using the data related to that particular factor, how that varies and how it can be visually represented and how it can be visually narrated to all the users or all the end users of Power BI. That Power View comes into play when we are going to do all of that, how that is going to be useful and how we are going to use it and how we are going to incorporate in our work culture being analysts, that we will be exploring in further sessions. Power BI service, like I told you, it is used to upload your dashboards or report to the Power BI service cloud. So once you work on your desktop, your entire dashboard is ready. It is not like, we are not in the age old system where we are going to mail the application to everybody, or we are going to put that, say, that particular file in a hardware, let's say a hardware device like a pen drive or a USB or a hard drive, and then we are going to circulate it around. There is Power BI cloud, where once you're done, you can upload it on the Power BI service cloud, and you can grant access to whoever wants to view that. Users across the world with Power BI access can view your dashboards. Like I said, Power BI service can be installed on your personal computer, your desktop, your phone, your tab, anywhere. So once you want a user to check your dashboard, if he has Power BI on his mobile application and you have given granted access for that person to view your dashboard, he can view it from any corner of the world using his mobile application. He can see everything that you have analyzed and you have represented there. It can be accessed through PCs, laptops, and even through mobile devices. That is the dynamism and that is the versatility of Power BI. One of the major questions that I encounter whenever I'm trying to recommend Power BI to anybody, especially to analysts, whenever they want to consider between Power BI and Tableau, and there are a lot of other business intelligence tools also, but the most popular ones are Power BI and Tableau. If you go to Google and search for Google Trends Analytics and you compare Power BI and Tableau, you can see that there is comparatively a higher, a higher inclination in the use of Power BI. The number of users who have opted for Power BI in different industries, finance, medical, fintech, medtech, proper software development and service-based companies, all these companies have switched to Power BI majorly in the past few years. Rather than Tableau, people have inclined more towards Power BI. Tableau is also a very beautiful tool. It has very exuberant features, and it can also has very good connectivity. It also has what do you say, a dynamism like Power BI. But Power BI, since it's from Microsoft, it is more easily